Hello, my lovely students. I hope you're fine. Today, we will learn about question tags. Are you ready? Let's go. She's very pretty, isn't she? He's very strong, isn't he? They're so cute, aren't they? Well, question tags are short questions used at the end of a sentence. They are used in spoken English and they're used for agreement or confirmation. There are two forms of positive sentences. They're positive sentence with a negative question tag. Example, it's raining, isn't it? And a negative sentence with a positive question tag. I will clarify more this with more examples. Well, we will go over the rules of question tags. We have 5 rules of question tags. The first one is positive verb with a negative verb and vice versa. Secondly, we have verbs without auxiliaries. 3 sentences that start with I am, and 4 commands, and 5 sentences that start with let's. Let's start with the first rule, which is the positive verb with a negative verb. If the verb in a sentence is positive, then the verb in the question tag will be negative. For example, she can speak English. Can she? Well, the first sentence, can, is a positive verb, and can't is a negative verb. So whenever we have a positive verb, we use negative question tag. And if the verb in a sentence is negative, then the verb in the question tag will be positive. Example, she can't speak English. Can she? Can't is a negative verb in the first sentence, and can is a positive verb in the second question tag, which is the second sentence. Rule number 2. For verbs without auxiliaries, for example, look at the sentence, we ran to the school, didn't we? We run to school, we normally don't have an auxiliary here, but actually it's there, it's hidden. We can say, we did run to school, didn't we? So for these kind of sentences that we don't have an auxiliary, we should add didn't because we have here the past. If the main part of a sentence has a verb but does not have an auxiliary verb, then the question tag will use an appropriate form of do. If we have the simple present, we either use does or doesn't. For the past, did or didn't. For example, here, he loves homework, doesn't he? Rule number 3. Sentences that start with I am. For I am, we use for the question tag, aren't I? Example, I am the best at sport, aren't I? But if we start the sentence with a negative, for example, I am not, we use am I. Example, I am not going on a trip, am I? So really you need to pay attention to this rule. Rule number 4, commands. This is used when you command someone to do something. For example, close the door, will you? So if you want help from someone, if you ask help from someone, you say, for example, give me your pen, will you? So remember, command, we use will you for question tags. Rule number 5, sentences that start with let's. If a sentence starts with let's, the question tag will always be shall we. Example, let's go dancing, shall we? Remember, let's is always followed by shall we. Here is a quick recap of the 5 rules that we have just seen. Rule number 1, positive verb, negative verb. For example, if we have a statement that is positive, question tag should be negative. If the statement is negative, question tag should be positive. For the second rule, verbs without auxiliaries. If we don't have an auxiliary in a sentence, we use either do or don't, does or doesn't, or did and didn't for the past. For sentences that start with I am, we use aren't I. For commands, we always use will you. And for sentences that start with let's, it's followed by shall we. If the main clause has an auxiliary verb or verb to be, we repeat it in the question tag. Let's look at this example. They are playing, aren't they? He is studying, isn't he? Pay attention again to the first person singular of the verb to be in the negative form. For example, I am charming, aren't I? If the main clause doesn't have an auxiliary verb, we use do or does, don't or doesn't, or we can use did or didn't for the past. He studies very hard, doesn't he? She doesn't know where to go, does she? Now let's practice again. He studies very hard. What are we going to use here? Does he or doesn't he? Doesn't he exactly? Let's go to the cinema. Shall we or can we? Shall we? She doesn't know where to go. Does she? I am charming. Are you going to use aren't I or aren't I? Aren't I? Well, my friends, the lesson was easy, wasn't it? We finished our lesson for today. Bye bye.